Captain Scarlet and the Return of the Mysterons was a CGI test film made in early 2000 to consider the possibility of Gerry Anderson recreating one of his classic programs for a 21st century audience. Commissioned by Carlton International Media in November 1999, the new owners of the ITC Entertainment programs since January 1999, Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons was selected for these trial runs using groundbreaking CGI technology, specifically in motion capture, a revolutionary computer technique used in the video game industry. The test film came at a time when interest was revived once again in the classic Gerry Anderson series as a result of a new wave of Captain Scarlet merchandise being released following the series' new remastered screening on BBC Two. Captain Scarlet is one of the crowning jewels among the Gerry Anderson programs and is considered by many to be the best series he ever produced. For many years, Anderson's biggest desire was to oversee a remake of Thunderbirds. However, with the remake rights for the series in the hands of Universal to create a live-action feature film, Anderson's next obvious choice for a remake was Captain Scarlet. Selected as a remake due to the series' dark appeal for audiences, the success of this test film would see Captain Scarlet begin to be brought into the 21st century, where new generations of fans would join Spectrum in their fight against the Mysterons. Throughout the 1990s, Anderson was growing interested in the prospects of using CGI technology to create programs with. Anderson understood that CGI offered new possibilities of recreating characters within his SUPERMARIONATION programs in animated form that allowed them to be created via live-action movements. Acknowledging that CGI was a new technology that would be used within the entertainment industry, Anderson aimed to evolve with the times by utilizing the latest groundbreaking means of production entertainment. The script for the test film makes it clear that this is a direct continuation of the television series, instead of a complete revival as the new series turned out to be. The Mysterons have laid dormant since the events of the end of the original series and released their hold on Captain Black. Spectrum was recalled following the renewed threat of the Mysterons with their latest technological developments. In November 1999, Steve Begg, special effects designer on Terrorhawks and Space Precinct, designed an updated SPV model for the test film called the SPV Mark II, where the driver faced the front in this model, and his designs were textured with 3D Maya software. Further modifications were made to the original series vehicles of Cloudbase, the Spectrum Saloon Car, now renamed the Spectrum Patrol Car, and the Angels. Captain Black would now start to speak with a more human voice and broke out of his coffin as he did in the first episode of the revived series. There are visual references to Captain Black's original conversion into a Mysteron agent. In the first episode of the original series, Captain Black's skin pales and he grows stubble after being taken over by the Mysterons. The same happens to Captain Black after dropping his facade and hypnotizing Captain Blue. Leon Connery, heard briefly as Destiny Angel, is actor Sean Connery's niece. Production began on the 4-minute test film in January 2000 at the London Moving Picture Company. The film was written and produced by John Needham, former executive producer for Space Precinct. Miniature busts of Captain Scarlet, Captain Blue, and Captain Black were sculpted by Manchester-based puppet makers Mackinnon and Saunders, who had made the puppets for Lavender Castle, and then scanned them to create computer models of the characters' heads. Mime artists performed action sequences with sensors attached to their bodies so their movements could be recorded digitally and then transferred to a computer to create a 3D likeness of their bodies. The returning Francis Matthews, Ed Bishop, and the new Black Gary Martin were fitted with sensors when recording the dialogue of the film, so their facial movements were imposed on the CG character heads to match their facial expressions with the dialogue. Mark Harris acted as production designer, and the storyboards for the test film were provided by Robin Shaw. The deadline of the production for the film was to run for 9 weeks in early 2000. The completed test film was shown to a full auditorium of fans on the 7th of October 2000 at a Century 21 convention in Coventry. It was later shown to a more general audience when Anderson delivered the test film at a science convention at Abingdon in Oxfordshire on the 21st of March 2001. The enthusiastic reception of both screenings encouraged Anderson to pursue the remake rights for the series from Carlton to make a whole new Captain Scarlet series based on the techniques employed in the CGI test film. Anderson was delighted with the test film and that he had the opportunity to make his characters hop, skip, and jump with no strings attached. The full test film was made available on the Spectrum headquarters website and was eventually released on home video in 2017 on the new Captain Scarlet Blu-ray set. Although Anderson stated in 2001 that he would love to remake Captain Scarlet in CGI, it would require a huge amount of time and a huge financial commitment for Anderson to make. After 2 years of negotiating the remake rights with Carlton International Media, Anderson was finally granted the opportunity to relaunch Captain Scarlet for the 21st century. It would be until the 3rd of February 2003 when pre-production began on a new series of Spectrum's Indestructible Champion. The announcement of the new series was made public on the 12th of March 2003 and had a planned air date of 2004. Gerry Anderson's new Captain Scarlet would ultimately prove to be a popular reimagining of the series that rivals Anderson's best work of the 1960s and brought about a suitable end to the remarkable film career of Gerry Anderson.